Welcome to my channel. Today, we will look at Gru's least favorite home improvement crew. Our story begins with Gru needing some home improvements. Maybe he was tired of looking at the same wallpaper in his living room, or perhaps the plumbing was in desperate need of repair. Whatever it was, he decided to hire some help. But who to call? He could hire some normal human beings, but where's the fun in that? Instead, he decided to call the one crew he knew would make a real mess: the Minions. The Minions were excited to get a new job. It paid well and there would be plenty of opportunities to blow stuff up. Bob the Minion got a big smile on his face as he looked at the tools he was assigned. He was gonna have so much fun with these. The first thing on the agenda was painting the walls. Dave tried to stop him, but Bob was already knee-deep into a bucket of bright yellow paint. Dave sighed. There was no reasoning with him when he got like this. Bob dipped his brush into the paint and made a big X on the wall. Not bad. Bob thought to himself, this is gonna look great when it's all done. Dave wasn't so sure. The paint was meant for touch-ups, not an entire room. And it was only meant for small surfaces, not walls. As soon as Bob applied the paint to the wall, it started to drip. Bob panicked and tried to clean it off, but he just smeared it into the wall. Then the paint started dripping from the ceiling. This is gonna look great, Bob thought. Dave didn't share his enthusiasm, but he did help Bob clean up the mess they had made. After several buckets of paint and 3 almost flooded rooms later, the two of them finally finished the job. Bob was very proud of himself. Dave wasn't so sure if Gru would be as impressed. Sure enough, when Gru saw what they had done, he was not happy. His house now looked like a giant smiley face. He looked at the contract. He distinctly remembered agreeing on white, not yellow. And it said right here, do not under any circumstances paint anything yellow. He crossed out the word yellow with a big red marker. Sometimes he wondered why he even bothered having the contract in the first place. They crossed out another thing on the list: painting the walls. Now all that was left was fixing the leaky faucet in the bathroom sink. That should be easy, right? Gru showed the Minion where the problem was. It was right here. You see that water stain on the ceiling? Yeah, fix that. The Minion looked at it and nodded his head. Gru went back to work, confident that it would take the Minion a while to fix. He could hear the sound of running water and looked out the window to see the Minion knee-deep in water. Gru facepalmed. That didn't look good. The sound of crashing was heard and Gru felt the floor shake beneath him. What was he doing, trying to fix the sink? Gru ran inside, worried the whole house might collapse. It was fine. The sink was fixed, but everything else was destroyed. Water was pouring out of the walls. The Minion had turned the knob all the way. Now there was a geyser shooting out of the sink. Gru couldn't believe what he was seeing. He looked at the Minion, who was smiling ear to ear. Good job, Minion, Gru said sarcastically. The Minion took a bow. After several hours of drying the walls and repairing the damage the Minion had done, Gru decided to just cross out everything on the list. Maybe next time he would just do the repairs himself. But for now, he was done. The Minions were done. They packed up their stuff and headed home. They did such a great job today. Dave said to Bob, can't wait till the next one. Bob wasn't so sure. The last time they had done repairs for Gru, he threw a tantrum and chased them around the house with a rolling pin. But what was that? 1 banana, 2 bananas, 3 bananas. They were almost home free when disaster struck. The truck broke down in the middle of the road. Bob looked at Dave with big eyes. What were they gonna do now? They couldn't walk. They didn't want to walk, it was too far, and they couldn't ask for a ride. Their boss would never let them drive his car. Bob looked around and spotted a car driving past. He jumped in front of it and hitched a ride. It was going in the right direction, but the driver wasn't going anywhere near where they lived. They were lost. Oh boy, Bob thought. This was going to be fun. They had been walking for hours and were exhausted. They walked past houses, trees, and a river. Finally, they saw the familiar sign welcoming them to their home. But when they turned to go up their street, they realized they were too tired to go any further. They decided to take a shortcut through Gru's house. They quietly snuck in through the window, avoiding every creak and squeak they could hear. They didn't want to wake anyone up. They crawled under a blanket on the couch and fell asleep. Suddenly, a light turned on, followed by footsteps. Bob and Dave hid under a throw pillow, hoping they wouldn't be seen. Gru was home early. He was surprised to see 2 sets of footprints in the living room. Did someone break in? Was he being robbed? He looked around to see if there was anyone hiding, but he couldn't find anyone. Maybe he was just imagining things. He poured himself a glass of milk and went to bed. Bob and Dave snuck out the front door and back to their car. They decided to stay in the car until morning. At least it was air-conditioned. In the morning, Gru noticed the footprints again. He decided to follow them. They led him right to his couch. He sat on it and felt something soft. He looked down to see a minion ear sticking out from under the blanket. He pulled it out and two pairs of eyes stared back at him. Gru knew exactly what happened. They broke in last night and probably did some damage. He stepped outside to find out. The windows were smashed, the walls were covered in fingerprints, and the living room looked like a war zone. Gru was furious. He grabbed the two minions by their collars and asked them what they thought they were doing. Bob explained they were just trying to fix his house, but Gru interrupted him. He didn't want them to fix his house anymore. In fact, he fired them both. The minions looked down in shame. They were fired. But before they could leave, Gru asked them to clean up the mess they had made. Cleaning up was a lot less fun than blowing stuff up, but the minions did their best. Gru watched them work. Maybe he had been too hard on them. He should give them another chance. Just as he was about to tell them he rehired them, he found a note stuck to the fridge. It read, "Remember the rule, no minions in the house." Gru looked at the minions with a smile. Too bad, it seemed like he didn't have a choice. The minions looked back at him with sad eyes. Gru felt bad. He wanted to help them, but he couldn't break the rules. So instead, he gave them each a banana and a pat on the back. They may have been the worst home improvement crew ever, but they were still his favorite. Thank you for watching this Gru's least favorite home improvement crew short. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe for more content.